I'm about to run through my top 10 favorite video game franchises. Now, keeping it narrowed down to 10 surprisingly isn't easy. There's a lot of different video game franchises I like, but I'm just gonna list 10 off the top of my head. Now, this is in no particular order. My opinions will vary depending on the games and franchises, but yeah, let me just get to my top 10. Okay, first up on the list, The Legend of Zelda. What I like about the Legend of Zelda franchise is the creativity of each game, how each item you get from a dungeon could work well with Link as he travels through his adventures. And the franchise has gone through some changes, the notable one being Breath of the Wild, which replaced the typical dungeon items with the Sheikah Slate, and then the Purah Pad in the Tears of the Kingdom sequel. But these games are really good at testing your intelligence and how you can figure puzzles out. So that's one. Number two, God of War. The PS2 God of War games are very fun. They're a little more difficult than they look. You gotta really know how to use the Blades of Exile, but once you get the hang of it, along with the magic, it becomes a good ride. And then the PS4 and PS5 games, they take a more over-the-shoulder thing, but it works out well too. They keep it creative. You still got to use your brain, and you get a lot of good character development from Kratos. Okay? Number three, the Tales of franchise. So you got games like Tales of Symphonia, which is one of my favorites, with a good story and a good cast of characters with unique skills such as the Swordman, the Mage, healers, and just about anything else. And then the other games in that franchise, like Tales of Vesperia, Tales of Xillia, Tales of Berseria, it's like it's a bit of a variety. They all have their commonalities of having the same healing items, the same battles, only with a few changes. But it keep going with the fun all the way to Arise, with great characters like Lloyd Irving and Yuri Lowell. So I'll definitely put the Tales of franchise up there. Number four, Spyro the Dragon. I mostly just play the PlayStation 1 games, but the PlayStation 1 Spyro the Dragon games really helped me appreciate video games and the PlayStation brand. Spyro was like a big game for me. I like the atmosphere, I like the tasks, like the aesthetics. And as the sequels went on, you got more of a story out of Spyro, so you got to see more of the character and see his friends and really expand his world. So the things like the Legend of Spyro franchise are good, like in a narrative sense and gameplay too. And then you got the Skylander stuff, which is an interesting way to make money, but I was to put Spyro, especially the PS1 games, at a high pedestal. Okay, number five is Siphon Filter. I don't think many people put this in their top tens, but this shows how much of an underrated classic these games are. Mostly the PS1 era games. I like the stealth of the game, the different weapon types, how each mission is different. Like, they're not always the same. Some missions you gotta just go in and take out the bad guys. Some missions you can't be spotted. Sometimes you gotta protect someone. You gotta do something with certain time limits. And I really think that Gabriel Logan is one of the coolest video game characters. So I kind of wish more people liked it, but I am also kind of glad that it's more of a niche thing. So it keeps things simple. So number six, Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy has a lot of games in the franchise, and they're all one. It's basically one game after the other. I haven't played all of them, but I played as many as I could. Obviously, I played through 7, of course. Cloud Strife is one of the best video game characters I've played as. Seeing his story getting remakes is good and bad, depending on how you view it. The remakes are not perfect, and I probably will prefer the original, but good story. The games like Final Fantasy VIII, I know the GF system isn't popular, but it's still a fun game. Final Fantasy X's good. Final Fantasy 13, probably a little overhated. I enjoyed it. 15 was fun. Getting through 16 now. But Final Fantasy's earned a spot as one of the top franchises. Okay, number 7, Street Fighter. I will not claim to be the best at fighting games. I'm probably really bad at string combinations, but I still enjoy playing Street Fighter. I enjoy seeing characters like Ryu, Ken, Chun-Li, not just the gameplay wise, but story wise. Because fighting games stories are often overlooked, which is a shame because it adds more to these characters. Yet, so some of these characters are a little more fleshed out than others, but you still want to get to know what you're playing as. Street Fighter goes through doesn't it has like one of those things where it changes a little bit, but not too much. You can go into any Street Fighter game and still kind of play well, unless you're like one of those really hardcore fighting game experts who know every little sweet spots there is. So, but it's still pretty decent. Number 8, the Resident Evil franchise. So, I mostly prefer some of the older stuffs like the PS1, the PS2, maybe but the PS3 era. Like Resident Evil 2 is one of my favorite video games. Leon Kennedy is one of my very favorite characters in video games. Chris Redfield's good too, as is Jill, because like Resident Evil, the original, Resident Evil 3, those are good games. Resident Evil 4, good game. Resident Evil 5, it could have been better at points, and I think if it were up to me, some major story changes would have happened, but it's still a fun game. So, Resident Evil 2 remake was really good too. It's probably the only Resident Evil remake I actually enjoyed. So, but the Resident Evil franchise knows how to change, go from the fixed camera angle to like over the shoulder. Like, I know a lot of people miss the fixed camera angle, but let's face it, Resident Evil 4 popularized the whole over-the-shoulder thing that you see in other video games, so they did something right. I'm not fond of the current first-person thing that, like you have in Resident Evil Village, and I know you could get like third person, but that costs extra money for some reason. That should have been a free update. Point is, the franchise is still good, so worth it. Number 9, Sonic the Hedgehog. So I could talk a lot about Sonic. Great cast of characters. Sonic himself is a very interesting character who kind of varies in his personality depending on the Japanese version or the Western version. You got great characters like Tails and Knuckles. Great games, especially like Sonic Adventure 1 and Sonic Adventure 2. Like everyone will talk about how great of a game Sonic Adventure 2 is, and it deserves it. It has a good story. The gameplay was a little rough at points, maybe it's because of the version I had because I played on GameCube. But I think all the Sonic games have something good about them, even Sonic 06. Like, Sonic 06, gameplay-wise, terrible. Story, interesting. Had an annoying plot point at one point with the whole time travel thing. That was like a bad time loop. And I'm not too satisfied with how they handled the final act, especially when they wrote off one of the characters, but still a good game. Sonic Unleashed, one of those games that became appreciated as time went on. So, right now, Sonic is hit or miss, whether it's the games or the read the comics and see all these other characters like Sally Acorn, who hopefully one day will make the transition to the games, but beyond that, Sonic is definitely up there as one of my favorite franchises. I have a lot of the Sonic games, so for better or worse, I stick with Sonic. So, before I get to the last one, here's a few honorable mentions. Devil May Cry, very fun franchise. Splatoon, I enjoy that very much. Tekken, I actually know how to play it pretty well. Uncharted, good game with exploration and whatnot. Mortal Kombat, classic fighting game. Metal Gear Solid, good stealth. Okay, let's get to the last one. Out of the last one, I'm going to go with Super Mario Brothers. Super Mario Brothers is one of the reasons I got into video games, so of course I want to give it a big mention. Story-wise, Mario doesn't always have much of a story. It's kind of bare bones. Like, some games do try, especially the Paper Mario games, and even the Mario Luigi RPG games, but beyond that, it's kind of a basic story usually, but it works. Sometimes you don't need something so complex like these other games have. Sometimes a simple story works just as well, and you get to fill in the gaps yourself in a way. Like, some characters do have good backstories. If you play Super Mario Galaxy, Rosalina has a decent backstory, so you get something at least with some of these characters. But for Mario, it's all about the gameplay, and Mario's really good at innovating. You go from the side-scrolling stuff like the old NES and Super Nintendo games. You got the 3D format introduced in Super Mario 64. You got like them trying to combine them, like in Super Mario 3D World. You got the RPGs. You got the kart racing. Mario takes a lot of chances, and it usually pays off. Mario sometimes doesn't always have the best games, even as rare as it feels, but you can always count on Mario to help you get a good time. So that's it for my top 10 games. I'll see you around.